share a PPT with you guys. I hope the screen sharing is on.
Let me check, ma'am, once.
Yeah, yeah.
It may be on. Yes, ma'am. I have a lot participants to share. You can share now.
Yes. I hope it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Shubhra.
It's visible. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Shubhra.
Welcome, ma'am.
So yeah. So what entrepreneurship is? Yes, I was there, and it's basically an act of resolving an existing problem. So there's a problem in the market, there's a difficulty, or it can not be an existing problem. You can, develop it on your own if you feel that there is a need of something that the market demands, and with a new set of solutions, modified applications of existing solution. So in if there is a current problem, there if there is a certain sort of food that is unavailable in the market. I'll give you the example of my food truck itself. Okay, so there is a certain category of food that is available in a particular city, in a particular town, but you see, there can be something new done to it, or there is a new approach to launching the same dishes again, in with a new approach. So that is what gives when you become an entrepreneur, and if you have the capacity of problem solving. And entrepreneurship, societal wise, it's gender based, but then practically it's not gender based. The operations of an entrepreneur is not very gender based. Okay, it depends totally on your capacity and your core competency. The problem arises when society puts a pressure on gender. And then women entrepreneurship these days, it's rapidly rising, and that is because that is a complementary statement for our education system, actually, because the literacy rate, if you go to see the literacy rate there, the number of women, people who graduate or who pass the matriculation or who pass the SSC examinations is comparatively lower to than that of the men percentage. So yeah, so for our education system, that's a plus point. On papers, it's very glorious. If you see the datas in US, you will be shocked to know that there are 11 million women entrepreneurs, but it's very minute compared to what the number of men entrepreneurs is in US itself. And is there a difference between a women entrepreneur and a men entrepreneur? Technically, no, there is no. The only difference that is created by the society, and it's built in our head. Today, in this guest lecture, I think most of the participants are females, if I'm not wrong. So
Yes, of course, ma'am. In Royal,
yeah, yeah.
there are majority of females.
Yeah, so to all the women out here, I'd like to say that, if somebody is telling you that there is a difference between a men entrepreneur and a women entrepreneur, I'd like to tell you, no, this is just a particular mindset, and there's nothing like that. Okay, it's just a set of mentality that the society has, the people make you go through. So groundwork that you have to do in entrepreneurship. So first of all, you have to be very confident about what you're doing. Okay, irregardless of you being a man or a woman, you have to be very confident about what your idea is, what your approach is, what your capacity is, and what your core competency is. Once you're clear with all of these things, I don't think apart from the society trying to put you down and people trying to not acknowledge you, not pay you the proper respect, or not pay you the proper yeah value. Yes, so that becomes a bit problematic. So entrepreneurship isn't just about having an idea. Okay, it's more about formulating a plan around that idea to make it work. So you have an idea, how to give life to that idea. A whole point of an entrepreneur is making something, putting life into a lifeless thing. Okay, there is a thing which is just there in your brain. It's an idea that only you can see, but then you have to make it come to life and make it visible to a lot of other people's, and not only visible. You have to go through a continuous process where the idea becomes into a product or a service, and people are actually believing in it, taking it, eating it, using the product, or using your service that you provide. Okay, so the idea, from the phase when you've started to initiate the idea, and the next step is structurizing the process around the idea. if the idea is of a food truck, as for example. So okay, I just cannot just randomly get up one day and make a food truck. I have to structure the entire process about running of the food truck. I have to see who the competitors in the market are. I have to see what are the existing food street foods available in the city. I have to see who are the big players in the thing. I have to know where to source my products from. I have to know where to get my food cart made. So it's from just an idea, you have to make a proper structurized plan, and then you have to get the product ready. You have to sell a few copies of the product. You have to get okay, sorry for the video quality again. I think it's okay if we go on without the video. It's creating a lot of issues actually.
Yes, ma'am, it's perfectly
It's
fine.
all right.
Yes.
One
Yes, yes.
participant was asking that is any filter on in your laptop or
No,
mobile?
there's no filter on in my laptop. So
Okay,
that's what.
no problem, ma'am.
Okay.
We
No
can just
problem,
put
right?
like that.
Yes, yes,
Yes, ma'am.
because it's distracting me a lot. So yeah. So the
Yes,
idea, okay. So I was talking about bringing life to an idea. So the whole point of an entrepreneur, the whole motive of an entrepreneur is to show what people, what other people, what you are seeing in your brain and what you need to show it to other people, right? So from idea, from structurizing the entire process around the idea, getting the product ready, selling a few copies of the product, sending feedback and motivation, and seeking feedback from people if needed, and sustaining the operations. So this is what everything is about. Okay, it might sound very simple, it might look just a few steps, but then the whole effort, the energy, and the mental effort that goes behind this is nerve wracking. And I'm not telling this to just scare you guys, but then a lot of effort goes into entrepreneurship and making something come to life. So you should always also have a clear target audience, which is the most important factor in terms of business establishment. You have to segregate the segment of customers that you are targeting, whether you're doing a niche marketing, or you're targeting youngsters, or you're targeting the people who are beyond 60 years of age, or it's a product based for kids only. So that's how you target your audience. You build a product, and you have to know what sort of audience are you seeking for, who will be the buyer or the seeker of the service that you provide. So the next slide, that we'll move on to the next slide, and then we'll talk about why is there a growing emphasis on women entrepreneurs. So we have a growing emphasis on women entrepreneurs because actually after a lot of years of oppression, women are coming out in the open and with clear wins in recent markets. Although the numbers are very small, minimal, but then still, it's something to vouch for and something to look out for in the current scenario. I'll refer to a few contemporary brands which are doing fantastic under the a great leadership of women, like Nika. I hope maximum of you are females here, and I know that you guys are very familiar with the cosmetic brand called Nika. It's a brand which aims at making a one-stop point for purchasing the beauty products. So Nika was launched in 2012 by Falguni Nair, and now it is a one-stop solution for all your cosmetic, problems of purchasing the brands and everything. It has around 1,500 brands under it and around 1,600 employees all over India. The products of Nika are available in 68 stores, and it does a total turnover of 1,200 to 5,000 crores per year. So you can see how much, Nika has led, or a women, or has taken this platform of an online selling cosmetic brand to such a great height. The next platform that we'll talk about is Biocon, which is a biotechnology firm, which is also, led by a woman named Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. And Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw is a very interesting personality, to be very honest. She was born in 1953, and in 1968, her father forced her to learn brewery. So brewery, I hope all of you are are familiar with what a brewery is. Brewery. Okay, so I'll just tell you what a brewery is. Brewery is a course, or it is a course that you take up to learn how to brew alcohol, spirits, wine, and all of these things. So these things was these all of this is supposed to be a male dominated society, and she was the only woman in her class back in 1968, and her course was in Australia, Melbourne. So from there to being the CEO of Biocon, she was also referred as one of the most powerful women by Forbes. I think not one of the most. She was ranked at 68 by Forbes as as the 68th most powerful person in the world. So yeah. So about we just spoke about the leading women entrepreneurs, Palguni Nair and Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. The next one is Fitness Community Fraternity by Neha Mutwani. I hope all of you are very familiar with Cult Fitness. It's a very famous and contemporary gym, but they have, and during lockdown they have also started on with their online uh, app and gymming activities. Uh, uh, yes, I would like to know at this point if some of you have any questions. I would like to interact with a few students if that's not an issue.
Yes, if anyone have any question, you can
Yeah.
directly ask, or you can send it in the chat box also.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, there is one question from Rian. How do you deal in the marketing or sales side of a service or a product?
Hello, Shubhra, can you please let me know where is? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you deal in the marketing sales side of a service or a product? Okay, so the approach that we have taken as a food truck, like first of all, we thought food, it's best when somebody tells you. The what that we opted was for a mouth to mouth direct, this thing publicity. So that's how we have run for 2 years now. But after a certain point of time, you have to look at the SO and SEO, how it is doing, and keeping in mind with the contemporary things, social media plays a very big role today in marketing and the sales side of a product. So yeah, so the two approaches that we dealt with were mouth to mouth publicity and social media. Anything else, Rihan, you'd like to ask?
There is one question that was sent to me
Yeah.
directly. Can you
Yes.
elaborate that alcohol making part?
Oh, the brewery part.
Yes, I think he
Yes.
was asking for
So
that. Huh.
yeah. So Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, as I told you, so she is a biopharmacist. Okay. So back in 1968, her father sent her to this brewery course. Brewery courses teach you how to brew alcohol, basically, be it whiskey, be it beer, be it winery, or be it scotch or vodka or xyz, all of these things. So this is a course, I don't know, depending on which college you opt for in Australia, or I don't think so any colleges in India teach you what breweries or how to work in a brewery. It's basically a thing a science student would understand better. It involves a lot of chemistry to it, and a lot of chemicals to it. So yeah, that's about brewery. And Kiran Mazumdar Shaw was the only woman back in 1968 who was the student of brewery. So it was a complete. It still is a completely male-dominated industry. But then, if it was possible in 1968, why not now? So yeah. Anything else, Shubhra?
No, ma'am, there is no more questions in the chat
There's no
box.
more question yet. Okay. So by letting people know what kind of. So yeah, so I hope I'm clear with the question of marketing and sales side of a service or a product. Nowadays, see, social media plays a very big role. Okay, be it Instagram. There, first we had a concept of influencers. Now we have concept of micro influencers, nano influencers. Influencers are the ones, with mega followers. I think it's more than 60K followers. You need to have more than 60,000 followers to call yourself an influencer. But nowadays, companies, small companies and startups, they also aim at nano, influencers and micro influencers. The ones who have nano influencers are the one who have followers for 1,000 followers, and micros are the ones who have 5,000 followers. So you, rather than hiring one influencer, and you go for 10 or 100 nano influencers or 50 micro influencers. So these are the things that that my organization has worked on till now, these three things. So yeah, that's all for now. So we'll just move on to the next slide. So yeah, this is the most important slide. I have not said anything about women entrepreneurship till now. I have just told you guys what an entrepreneur is, what are the there, and that there is no difference between a women and men entrepreneur. But then when it comes to practicality, when you go into the field, women especially, and you see that things are not so rosy and not so soft as they seem to be, and like compared to your male counterpart. So the main challenges would be, not like my first point, not being taken seriously in the field of work. So it is the biggest disappointment that a woman faces. So today, if you go out, as for example me, if I am accompanied by a male counterpart of me, be it a friend or my father or my brother, anybody. So if I have to make a payment, if I have to do a dealing, the vendor whom I am dealing with, will ask for the payment to the male counterpart, and it has happened with me practically. It has happened with me. So he'll ask the payment, and he'll go to my male counterpart और उसको जाके बोलेंगे कि ये इतने पैसे हुए, उतने पैसे हुए. But then out of his surprise, or out of his I don't know, dismay, it can be surprise or dismay, I am the one who is signing the check or writing the check. So he gets like okay, a woman is doing this, so he's like taken aback then. So yeah, not being taken seriously is one of the biggest problem. You might be handling your father's business today, and people might be like, oh, what is this? She's just doing her father's business. Doesn't matter how much you have helped aided to the growth of the business, you will always not be taken seriously in your field of work. And that is because of a particular mindset that people carry on with men and women. They mostly think that women cannot do managerial work, management work, and they cannot lead a team. But then I personally feel if the world was ruled by women, it would be a much peaceful place. So yeah, on the next note, we'll go to the next challenge that is faced by women entrepreneurs. So the next challenge is accessing funding. Okay, so this is a very important thing. Baki sab cheeze to it's come and go here and there, and this and that can be worked through. But when it comes to funding is the main source which is going to give life to your business. Without funding, you're zero. So and you might become a zero without funding. So there's no sense of talks and all if there's no funding at all. What is funding? So funding can be 10 rupees, can be 100 rupees, can be 10 lakhs, can be 10 crores, can be 1 crore, depending on your size of the business. Okay. So when you're seeking funding, you are actually telling somebody to invest in your idea, in your plan. So what you see you have to project it exactly, or even a greater picture to the investors. It can be a venture capitalist, it can be startup India, it can be any personal investor or any XYZ person. Okay, when we talk about funding, why am I telling you it's a little tougher for women? Because funding mostly occurs in a close circle. So people whom you know will invest in you, or your network of people. Through your network of people, that's how investment happens. Okay, so we all know that US, Silicon Valley, is the hub of entrepreneurship and venture capitalists. So in Silicon Valley itself, there's only 6% of women investors who are willing to invest in women. So a man, when I tell you that a person invests in the same circle, that means a graduate from Stanford is going to invest in a graduate from Stanford. A person from India is going to invest in a person from India. Likewise, a man is going to invest in a man. So the number of women investors, the percentage of women investors who are willing to invest in women entrepreneurs is just 6% in Silicon Valley, which is the hub of venture capitalists. So with this number, you can get an estimate or an idea about the percentage in India of people willing to invest in women. Okay, but now slowly, as the time is changing, women entrepreneurship, is getting a lot of wind, a lot of air, and people are slowly. It's a slow process. Change is mostly very slow. Okay, it might take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line to make this 6% when it comes to India becomes only 1 or 2%. Okay, I'm not going to joke. I'm not going to show you fake numbers. So when it comes to India, it'll become, or maybe in points, in pointers, 0.75% or something like that. But then there is no appropriate number, because nobody has kept a tab of successful women in entrepreneurs or women venture capitalists in India. So yeah, that way things are going to change, but then till the time it will be very difficult. And it is us actually who has to stand up for ourselves, who has to believe in the change, who has to believe in the process of change, and be the change themselves. So yeah, so we have done defying societal we have done not being taken seriously and accessing fun. Two major challenges of a women entrepreneur today. The third one is defying societal expectations. Mostly women are taught, when once they start gaining senses, they are taught how they have to take care of a family, how they have to take care of their family, and after marriage how they have to take care of somebody else's family. But a woman is never taught how to start something. See, if something if being a girl, I am doing a food truck, so the response that my parents gave me when I told them that I'll do something of my own, I think that would be completely different if my brother told my parents that he would be doing something of his own. So yeah, so for them, this period of acceptance, this phase of acceptance of a girl coming out from a care of her parents, and doing something of her own, without taking help from her parents, without taking help from anybody, XYZ, and trying to find funding and doing things like this. So yeah, it's a bit unacceptable for the people, mostly your parents, your family. And it's not anybody else. It's mostly your parents and people who cannot see you not under a shade, not being under a shade, who cannot expect you to not be under a shade. They've always expected you to be in their shade first, live with your parents, then and then get married, and then your guardian becomes somebody else. When a married girl is writing guardian mein jab wo likhti hai apna naam, so she writes the name of her husband, and before marriage she writes the name of her father. But a husband, on the other hand, is never asked who his guardian is. So I hope all of you are getting the point that I'm getting through, right? A woman is always supposed to be under the care of a man. So that's now not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it's supposed to be. No, so it's supposed to be equal. Okay? And we ourselves have to come up and say these things and defy the societal expectations that no, this thing is not gonna happen. I can take care of myself. I can take care of my family, and I can take care of my career as well. The next problem is owning your accomplishments. Because women are not taken seriously in their field of work, it's very difficult for you to own your own accomplishments. Because when I address my accomplishments, I never say I always say we. Because I'm always scared that people will not take me seriously if they think that I am the only person managing it. Because that is something that has become my mindset, and that is what people has put into us, that no, women will not be taken seriously if you say that you're doing it alone. But then these are the things that are the problems, and we need to change it, we need to face it, and we need to make a proper networking, and a strong networking of people who don't dominate us, don't try to dominate us, or don't try to pressurize us, or don't have this societal expectations that we cannot fulfill. The next one that I'm going to do is, I have not written it down here, but then it is also very important, very difficult problem when it comes between choosing your family and your career. What do you do then? Men don't have to sacrifice their family or their career for their family, or their family for their career, because they don't have a choice. But we, on the other hand, we are given a choice, that after getting married, you have to sacrifice your career, and you have to have a family life. But then the whole challenge is balancing the family life and the your business. That is the whole challenge. If you can tackle all of these problems, I don't think there is anything that can deter you from achieving what you want to achieve. And of course, limited mobility restrictions, a male dominated society, the way, when you walk into a conference room, it's mostly men, so you have this conception that you have to be fearless, or you have to be very aggressive. The approach should be very manly, but it's not like that. Your approach can be different. Your approach can be your approach. It need not be manly. It need not be under pressure, that you have to behave or talk in a certain way, or project in a certain way that is pleasing to men, or that is like a man, like what a man would do. So these things, I think if you get over these things, if you get ahead of these things, you nobody can deter you from doing what you're doing. I'd like to have some questions at this point of time, Shubhra, if there are any.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have
Yeah.
one question in the chat box itself by Rian again. Rian
Yeah.
have asked that, could you throw some light on the different documentations needed to stand official in the market as a business entrepreneur?
Yes, of course. So the different documentations that you need to keep in mind is, first of all, you need to from the local. I'll start from the basic. Okay, from the local municipal corporation, you have to get a trade license. Okay, so trade licensing you have to do. If you are into F&B service, then you have to get an FSSI certified licensing, food grade licensing. If you are into F&B production, I'm talking about. But if you are into manufacturing of F&B goods, then you have to get a licensing from FSSI as well, saying that your food products is safe and can be consumed and all of that. And then, of course, there's GST filing that you have to do. So these are the 3-4 basic things that you need to do before launching a business. So this is initial. Okay, I don't know if you're talking about a partnership, if you're talking about a sole proprietorship, or if you're a company. If you are talking about a company, then the ball game is whole different. This is a phase what we are into. Okay, my food truck was a partnership first, then it turned into a sole proprietorship, and now it is on the verge of becoming a company. Hopefully by this year it becomes a company. So yeah, when it becomes a company, and when funding comes into play, the ball game is whole different. But then for the beginning, you need to get a trade license, and if you are in a F&B industry, you need to get an FSSI licensing, and the third one is you need to get your GST registration. These are the 3 things for initially starting off any business.
Okay, so the next question, ma'am, here is from Maria. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts about pink tax and differences in remuneration between men and women? Are there any practices being followed in India towards the inhibition of the same?
No. See, pink tax is often, uh, it is a gender-based discrimination again. It's a pricing discrimination. Okay? So, and it is there in every industry. Okay? The industry that I come from, food and beverage industry, I think it's the major victim of pink tax and the difference between remuneration between men and women. When it's very clear. Okay? The industries that are basically considered to be male dominated, like any mostly I'll tell you engineering projects. Okay? Like the civil industry is there. There is electrical industry. Then there is the F&B industry. In these industries, the women are paid less, because there is a conception that women cannot do hard work labor as much as men can do. Okay, but then women have been fighting through this through centuries now, through ages now. I'll also like to put an example here. Okay, it's not about pink text, but it's just a very off the track example. But then I think you guys have heard of Jane Eyre. Okay, so and J.K. Rowling as well. So these women, the writer of Harry Potter. So these women, back in 18th and 19th century, 20th century, these women had to make their names. The writers have a different name, their book name, the pen name, and their original name. So their pen name used to be always a man name of a man. Okay, it not never used to be, or something like which you could not make out if the writer is a man or a woman. Why is it? Because people always used to think that it's not possible for women to write. Women cannot be a writer. So that's how women first started writing. They started to practice under a male name. They started keeping male practices. So women have always been fighting things like that. But I don't think so there's any inhibition, any law, any practices that are being followed in India now to stop the pink tax and the difference between men and women, remuneration of men and women. I don't think so.
Okay, hope Maria, you get your answer. The
Yeah.
next question here is, ma'am, how important is network for women entrepreneurs?
It's okay, irrespective of a women entrepreneur or a men entrepreneur, networking is very, 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 very important. Okay, sometimes people say, not sometimes, most of the time people say that it's not the product that you're selling but the network that you have. If you have a good network of people, if the people that you are with or the people who are investing in you, your circle, the people you hang out with, if it's good, if their reach is good, then half of your problems, 80% of your problems will eradicate on its own. They'll show you things, they'll take you places, and take you places, like not physically take you places, but virtually and mentally take you places where you have never thought that you can be. So yeah, networking is very important. Networking is very, very important.
One last question that I have with me
Yes.
is,
Yes.
what are the disadvantages of investment by venture capitalists?
Okay. So the first disadvantage will be, see, venture capitalists you'll only get after once you have run your business for a period of a year, 2 years, and you have a story behind it, and then you go ahead and take a venture, like funding from a VC. So the first disadvantage that I feel is if it's a limited liability funding, then in okay, अगर profit हुआ तो ठीक है. If it's a profit making organization, then it's okay. But we all know that business profit and loss goes hand in hand. If there is a profit, there is a fair and share chance of having a loss as well. So the main problem with the venture capitalists, the main investments through venture capitalists is that once you take funding from them, and once it's a limited liability thing, your company or your startup is not yours anymore. So if in case it has to go through a loss and everything, they are going to sell the last bit of your organization, the thing that you have made from the beginning, and then you sell it off. And I think you are the person who will get the last benefit from it. I see, I still have to go through this entire process. I'm at a very initial stage of gaining funding through venture capitalists. So yeah, I'll maybe able to give a very practical explanation to this later on. But as of now, I feel this is the only disadvantage of funding through venture capitalists, because it's that your organization does not remain yours anymore, and the control of it is in somebody else's hand, all over.
No more questions, ma'am. If
No more
anyone
questions.
have any question, you can send it.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
I
JB, you
think I see
can say.
something. There are programs proposed by the government to encourage entrepreneurship and women entrepreneurship specifically. So there are two, three. Okay, I think you can register yourself under Startup India. I think every state has its own startup nest. Maharashtra must be having a startup Maharashtra nest somewhere in Mumbai or Pune, if I'm not wrong. There, and then there are two, three. There is one MSME under MSME Act. You can get yeah, funding of women entrepreneurship, and there is one more called Mudra loans. I think you get as low as 50,000 till 2 lakh rupees under Mudra loans. So these are for very small scale businesses. I hope there are no more questions now.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. There are no more questions.
Yes, okay. So we're done with the challenges faced by the women entrepreneurs.
Ma'am,
Click
there
on the
is one,
yes,
one more. Okay,
yes.
like today's youth thinks and say entrepreneur is all about advising any brand and any kind of brand collaboration. So
Huh.
is it that so? Is it true?
Sorry, I did not get you.
Like today's youth says or thinks
Yeah,
that entrepreneur is all about advising any brand or any kind of brand collaboration. So is it
advising
that?
any kind of brand and brand collaboration.
Yes, ma'am.
No, no,
It
no,
is.
no. See,
Is it true?
see, for surviving and for making it into a market, if you have to collaborate with a brand, how can that be a wrong thing? You tell me. If you are giving life to something, okay, today you have an idea, tomorrow that idea is, live, and then you see ways in which you can sustain it, in which you can grow it. So today the youth says that collaboration is the word. Okay, so be it collaboration, whatever fits, whatever fits your time, whatever fits your zone, whatever is beneficial for your firm is, and the step that you have to take is a must. So you have to understand this, that you cannot generalize it. Okay, you cannot generalize it by saying that today it's only collaboration. Collaborate only when needed. Okay, ask help when needed. See, as an entrepreneur, you have to have a lot of qualities in you. But then it is very wrong to be expecting a person to be in operation, in finance, in marketing, in sales, 100 or at par in all of these, heads. So, of course, when you need help, where you need help, you have to go for collaboration. Otherwise, sustaining in this, competitive market, and a market which is evolving every day there is a new product in the market, every day you have a new competitor coming in life. So what do you do at the end of the day? It's better than having friends, it's better having friends than having enemies and competitors. So that's where collaboration comes in. So yeah, collaborating for now is a thing, but then people evolve, and entrepreneurship is always an evolving circumstance, evolving thing. I cannot teach you what being an entrepreneur feels like, or what entrepreneurship is like. I can just give you bookish things and the things that I have been through personally. But then once you are into the game, and you have to do what you have to do to make your organization survive, you've got to do it. So yeah, that's what. So my next slide goes to this, solutions. There are problems for everything. So solutions, these are just listed solutions, but not necessarily for you, for me, or for anything, but then, just general solutions. So you have to understand what the word entrepreneur means. It's not, it's, I know it's very, it sounds very starry, it sounds very glossy, it sounds very nice to be called yourself an entrepreneur, but always remember, it's not so easy. Okay, it's not easy. Once you are an entrepreneur, you don't know. That is the only difference between a job and between taking a job and between being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur has to decide for himself. He has to be responsible for his activities, for the activity of his products or services, his organization. He has to take decisions for everybody, for his employees. So you're not the one who is being employed. You are the employer here. Okay? So you have to make calculated risks, and that too at the right time. I understand there can be mistakes. I have made a lot of mistakes myself, mistakes which I regret, mistakes which have cost me a lot of money and a lot of time and everything. But then you should always calculate the risk, and that too at the right time. Okay, the next one is, see, like we discussed about the network. We have to have a network to communicate and exchange ideas, because one more problem here is we lack mentorship. We lack mentorship in entrepreneurship. Okay? And mentorship often happens in the same circle or in the same network. So men will be mentored by men, but if I have to find a woman to mentor me, it gets very difficult. But then, because in one city itself, it's very hard to find another women entrepreneur here. But mentorship is very important. It gives you a way. Obviously, I cannot tell you what to do, what not to do, but at least I can advise you, I can guide you. of what can be the next step, of what can be beneficial for you, or how I have, how I have survived through all of those phases. So yeah, so next point that we are going to discuss is having helping hands beyond your core competencies that I've already been through. See, yeah, we cannot expect one person to be marketing head, financial head, operational head, and sales head and everything. So when you cannot, please get helping hands, get your friends, talk to your friends, ask them, see their, I know it, you guys are in college right now, you are very close, you see life in a very different zone, but once you come out, you will understand what your friends are capable of. I know how to cook. My ex-partner with whom I started it, she was very good in social media, handling the people, sorting out the business and everything. That's why both of us planned to get together and bring this thing. So you have to understand, you have to, and friends can help you a lot. That is how you build a network from existing friends, or getting in connection with people who already have a network. The next point that we are going to discuss is serving quality over quantity. Any day when you start, please make sure that you start small. I am not telling you that this is necessary to start small, but I'm telling you, rather than going on for investing a lot into something, you can go through something which is small, which is tiny, on an experimental basis. And that experimental plan, the thing that we did, the thing that my organization did, we did a very small thing with a very small, capital in our hand. It was not even 2 lakhs when we started our initial capital, if to be very honest. We had thought of serving quality and starting very small. And this 2 years of experimental running, we are going to use this to raise our venture capital funding later on. So that's how it should be. You should not go beyond your expectations. You should not pressurize yourself with unnecessary expectations. Just have a plan, formulate a plan, monitor a plan, design it, and just work on sustaining the plan. This is what all you have to go through. Then the next point I just elaborated, start small. You can't run headfirst with an idea which hasn't been tried and tested. So trial and error, trial and error. So it is always going to be trial and error. So start small, and start building your confidence through it. That is what I feel very safe doing that. But if you want to go big, if you have a huge team, if you have the funding behind you, please go ahead. Me, on the other hand, I did not have any funding, I did not have a team, nothing I had. That is why I had to start small and like run on the trial and error basis. Yes. So next thing that I would like to talk about is passion versus profession. Okay, because, and I would like to cover this topic because I did it out of my passion and now it has become my profession. Okay, so this journey from passion, you start something out of passion. Okay, you start something out of passion and then you have to sustain it. If you don't have the passion to do it, then you cannot pursue it as a profession. So passion is why you start, and that's mostly it. When it comes to profession, there are a lot of external factors working on it. Okay, there are a lot of external factors working on it, because it does not end at passion. You have made your passion your profession. So the journey from sustaining your passion, from passion to sustaining your business, is when the real deal happens. And that is why people get very deviated, and people have these vague ideas that, if I can cook, I will become a chef, or I will be on TV, or I will be a celebrity chef one day, and I will. And then they totally fail to take into consideration all the, you know the negative points, the minus points that comes along with it, the hours of hard work that you have to put into it, 16 hours, 17 hours. And that is because you don't do proper research. You see something on TV, you hear something, you see something, you don't know what people go through. Okay, you don't know what people go through to reach where they are. I'll give you an example of Indra Nui. Okay, so she started new, she started small, she was an employee. Then she went on to a whole different level, and she took the organization from a small thing to, and made it very big, and today she is very famous. Okay, so the people are very fascinated by success stories, but they fail to see the effort and the sweat that goes behind it. Okay, So you should never take a decision, never enter a field without doing a proper research on it. I understand it is your passion, but then you need to sustain your passion as well, because it is you who have decided to turn your passion into profession. So the sustainability of it depends solely on you. So that is why I tell you, never go into a field without doing a proper research on it. The next point is start monetizing every small aspect. Every small aspect, purchasing of ingredients, utensils, setting up of your kitchen, getting helpers, having your employees. You have to start monetizing every small aspect, and not only the income. You have to estimate the expenses as well. So you have to, both the things should go hand in hand. The next is to define a system and structure to your passion to come across as a profession. As I said, passion is something that comes from heart. It will drive your heart. But then somewhere down the line, you have to define a system, you have to define a structure, so as to, if you are not available in your organization today, if you have a health issue, if you have a wedding in your family, if you are not present in your organization, the organization should run as smooth as it is in your presence and your absence. So that is the kind of system and structurizing that you have to go through. The next one is sustainability is the key. If you can't see your brand in a couple of years down the line, your structure isn't concrete. You always have to have a vision. Okay? 10 years down the line, what my brand is going to be like. 5 years down the line, where am I going to be like? What my brand is going to do? What is it going to sell? If it is here today, where am I supposed to take it? So that idea, that vision should always be there. And that is how it will help you sustain as well. You have to keep in mind that you have to sustain, you have to be sustainable, you have to be self-sufficient and sustainable in a market that is completely growing every day, that is growing rapidly and rapidly fast every day. The sector that I am in, food and beverage, street food mostly. So it is the most competitive sector. There is one new, two new, three new, four new outlets every other day. ठीक है. So इतना competition में sustain करना, how do you have to sustain? How are you different from 10 other people, in your city, from 20 other people in your city? That will what make your brand stand out in a couple of years down the line from the other brands in the market. And if your structure isn't concrete, I'm really sorry that this thing, if you cannot see it properly, then I'm sure nobody else can see it as properly. So yeah, so now I'd like to talk about my food truck. So and everything that I've spoken about till now, you will see that I have practiced it in real life as well. So when I tell you that start small, I did practice it. I did start very small. We started, and I'll tell you numbers now. Me and my partner, we started with an investment of 1,60,000 initial investment, and then we gained the love of people through mouth to mouth publicity. We did not do any social media marketing, we did not make pamphlets, we did not make codings, we did not share anything. So we gained the love of people through mouth to mouth publicity only, and we started doing regular sales. Then and we started in 2018 November. The next year itself, we won the most promising new entrant in the food truck category by Guwahati Food Awards. Then within 3 months, we expanded from food truck on the footpath. We expanded into a serving joint with loyal base of customers. Then operational excellence, autonomous system. Now the system is so that even if I'm not present there, the food truck runs very smoothly, very normally in my absence as well. In the beginning, it was just two of us doing everything, from cleaning, from cooking, from serving the guests, taking the orders and everything. It was just the two of us with a lot of help from our friends and family. I would not deny that. But then now we have employees. We have two employees, and then collaboration. We are also in collaboration with a management consultancy service here in the city, who are providing us management financial consultancy. And the future plan as of now is, I have already spoken about it, is that we are into a process of getting funding through venture capitalist or government funding. So yeah, registration into Startup Nest Assam is in process, and hopefully everything goes in a positive way. So that is all about Yatai and future plans. Also, conclusion, I'd like to tell you guys, yeah, that it's not impossible. It's not, if I can do it, anybody can do it. To be very honest, and it's not at all impossible to achieve. This is extraordinary for women because of the societal expectations, and because of the struggles that we have to face because of the society. And it's not only in India; it's everywhere. Trust me, it's everywhere. Women are not taken seriously in this industry anywhere in the world. Okay? So it's not possible to achieve, it's not impossible to achieve the extraordinary. You have to have this mindset, you have to have your own mindset clear that you can do it, and you will come out of it, and have a proper plan of action, rather than words and everything. Have your plan in action, be there for yourself, be confident, and just do it. And you have to start taking risks, and holding a point of authority, being accountable, taking responsibility in an organization, or your own organization. So you have to explore your core competencies, and you have to see your options in your field, where your core competency is, what can you do, what is the thing that is not there in the city, or that is there in the city, but you can do it in a very new form with your core competency in line. Then the fourth point is, being skeptical is fine. Okay, I am always skeptical, I'm skeptical every day. But then sometimes when you have to act, you have got to act. That is where your as an authoritarian, or as a person with responsibility, as a person who has an authority, that comes into being. The decision may be right, decision may be wrong, doesn't matter, but when it's time for action, you should do it. Being skeptical is fine, that's all I'm going to say. And lastly, I would like to conclude is, the road to success will be paved with losses, mishaps, and mistakes, but it can still take you where you want to go, as long as you don't lose sight of your ultimate destination. So take in all the feedback, jo bhi milta hai, negative, positive, filter out the noise and the naysayers, learn from your mistakes, and try not to make them again. But whatever you do not give up, and stay put, stay your course. That's all about it. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, ma'am, we have questions.
Yes.
Uh, Blogging or vlogging makes you an entrepreneur? Question mark. Do blogging and vlogging makes you an entrepreneur?
Yeah, why not? Blogging is a legitimate career option. A lot of people are doing it. It's very contemporary. I myself am a food blogger. So of course it makes you an entrepreneur, but then you have to reach that level where you can be self-sufficient. It's just not enough that you're vlogging or blogging for your own purpose. I know it's a small it's a very long process. It might take you 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line, but then yes, I think it should be considered as entrepreneurship, because it's not an easy work. Creating content, blogging is mostly creating content. And the way we have content creators in all the fields, I don't think so it's a very easy thing. It's a very challenging thing. There's a very lot of competition in that as well. So yeah, definitely it comes under entrepreneurship.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. The next question is, how did you get an idea to start your business?
Oh, so the idea, it happened as a result of brainstorming. Okay, so me and my friend, we were just talking, and we had only a limited amount of money in our hand, because we had been working for a very small amount of time. She was an educator at An Academy. I hope you guys, all of you, have heard of An Academy. It is an online teaching platform. So she was an
Yes, ma'am.
educator
Yes,
in
ma'am.
An Academy, and I was working in Kalangut in a cafe as the cafe managers. But both of us were not happy with the thing that we were doing. So we planned to move back to Guwahati, and then start something on our own, off our own. So yeah, it was something to I told you in the beginning itself that it was started as an experimental thing, very small, from very less capital and everything. But then yeah, so that's all about it. That's how we thought. And then we did a lot of research. We saw what all street food was available in the city, and we had to do a lot of research. Then we came to a conclusion that with the food habits of Northeast India, and comparing it with ramen. Then we had to make a lot of changes to the dish to make it, suitable for the Indian palate and all of that. So yeah, that's how it started. We started making our own homemade noodles from wheat. So that was also one thing that we tried to defy, because street food is mostly considered to be unhygienic and not good for, unhealthy and unhygienic. So we tried to fight that thing as well. We practice a thing called zero waste thing. So the peels and of the vegetables, or the peels of the eggs, are used as compost for our small vegetable garden, because we use our own. A lot of our vegetables that we use are grown in the farm. So we use the egg peels as the compost. The peels of the onion, carrots, and everything goes into the stock for our ramen. And after that is done, we either feed it to the dogs or we use it as compost again. So yeah, so we are the two contemporary things that we are practicing. Three, to be honest. One is women-led food truck in the city. Second one is zero waste policy, and the third one is having a healthy option as street food that involves making your own noodles from wheat, and using less oil and making it more healthy and more appealing for the people. So yeah, these things. That's how all of it came into being. That's how Yatai came into being.
Okay, ma'am. One more question. Actually
Yes.
there's three questions asked by one. Being an
Yes.
entrepreneur, how did you face this pandemic situation? First one. The second
Hmm.
one is, was it difficult to be a co-owner of a restaurant? And the third one, what was your plan when lockdown was declared?
So I did not have any plan when the lockdown was declared. Okay, I was clueless for 3 months in the beginning, initially, and I was out of money, because this industry runs on working capital, the cash flow. So the cash that comes in has to go out, but there was no cash coming in, and to be honest, we did not. Nobody had projected that it'll take 6 months, 7 months time for things to get normalized. Okay, and at a certain point, there was a certain point where every day I used to wake up and I used to be like, let's shut this thing, let's shut this. I borrowed money from my parents to pay my rent, to pay my employees and everything. I got my employees home with me, so that the cost was reduced, so that like they were living with us and everything. So the cost and everything was reduced, and like I could sustain them, at least food, at least I would be able to provide food to them. So that's how I coped up. I borrowed money from my parents, and I got my employees home. That's how I coped up. But I had never never imagined, that I will be opening it again. But by God's grace, we did open exactly after 6 months. We shut on 20th of March, and we opened on 21st of September. And since then, we have been doing pretty stable and doing pretty good. So yeah. So those are the plans. Those and it was a very uncertain phase. You did not know yourself that whether tomorrow is the day when you're going to start your business, or it's going to be after a month or after a week. So it was a very depressing state, and not only for me, for all the entrepreneurs all over the world, it was a very depressing stage. So yeah. So but then it's good to be back now, and good to be back, and good, actually. A lot of things shut down during lockdown, but then I'm very glad that I could sail through it. And we sailed through two such incidents, because we were in Guwahati. We had to face the car protests as well that happened in December 2019, if I'm not wrong. And then right 2 months after the cab and car protest, the lockdown happened. So yeah, I think it was for a period of 1 year. The business was not doing good in this segment of the country, in this part of the country. So yeah.
All right, ma'am. Have you answered that this question? Was it difficult to be a co-owner of a restaurant?
Yeah. It is very difficult. Every day it's challenging. You have to deal with a lot of people. You have to deal with people who don't work. You have to deal with people who don't want to work. You have to deal with people who want to work more than you. So you have to come in terms with a lot of people. You have to come in terms with people who don't accept you as an entrepreneur, who don't, who don't. If you ask them, like, get me something, get me this, get me that, and they'll take one day to give it to you, get it delivered to you. They'll take half day to get it delivered to you. How do you make these people work? Because and it happens mostly to women. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. When you ask them to deliver something on time, it doesn't get delivered on time. So it's difficult that way. Yeah? And a restaurant business, it sounds very glorious and everything. It's not so glorious. I'm very sorry to break this to all of you, but it's nothing. It's everything apart from being glorious. So yes, that's what. My video is still not working. I'm really sorry, guys.
It's perfectly fine, ma'am. No problem. Ma'am,
Okay, so
the
I have a
two girls
question
have.
here. It's not
Okay.
regarding entrepreneurship, but I'm curious to know what yatai means. Okay. So yatai is a Japanese word, and its literal translation to English means food cart. So first Yatai. So there is a story behind why my food cart was named Yatai, because it was one of its kind in the city when it was launched. Okay, there was no food truck serving ramen in the city, and the first Yatais that came into Japan post World War II, post 1942, was through Chinese. Then ramen is a dish which is considered to be the national dish of Japan, but actually ramen came to Japan from China. It's called lo mein in China, which means wheat-based noodles. So when people started selling it in China, they started selling it in food carts called yatai. So yatai means food cart. So that's why our food cart is named yatai.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. If you have any more questions, you can send it. After, do we have any questions from YouTube?
No, we don't
Yeah, do we
have.
have any
Let me check
questions
it.
from YouTube?
Okay.
Yes, please.
Uh,
Okay, Shubhra, we do have question from YouTube. Like,
all right.
I'll just. So, ma'am, it goes like, if you already have an idea for a business and a few customers, what are more ways to expand it and get more customers?
Get more customers. Okay, social media publicity, then you can put up hoardings, you can marketing through social media, you can play games, you can make your page more exciting, you can give giveaways, or you can ask them, you can have a competition where you give your product or service for free for a person, you can run discounts, you can run monsoon offers, you can have innovations in the form of Valentine's week or some new products for Valentine's, which is currently going, or Women's Day special or something like that. You have to be very on the spot and very creative that ways to market your product and everything. And we have a question here called, "Do you watch Naruto?" I'm so sorry, I don't watch Naruto, but this question, I come through this question a lot. So yeah,
Uh,
Aftab, right? Do we have any more question on YouTube?
Yes, ma'am. One more question that goes like,
Yes.
if we want to run a business from home at the start
Yeah.
of a business, given the current
Yeah.
situation, how do we get customers?
From home. I
Uh,
don't get what type of business are you talking about. If it's a business that is in my line, F&B, then I would tell you don't start it from home, because that'll make you lazy. And see, work from home and everything is fine, but then you should always have a segregation. If you're working from a home and if you have a particular office, do it. But at the beginning, I would always suggest that don't combine your home and your work. But getting customers, again, it's a very different thing for a different field of I can you please be specific with the kind of product and services you're talking about of getting customers?
Actually, ma'am, I don't have that. Like, a
Okay.
girl, Shruti Fernandez, she asked this question. I don't know. Shruti, if you can
Okay.
specify the business, I'll convey it to ma'am. Please
Okay,
specify
so
the thing.
see, I already spoke about influencers, micro influencers and nano influencers. ठीक है, तो आप घर से बाहर जा नहीं सकते हो. Current situation तो ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. Everybody is going out of the home for some reason. People are working from home again. I have no clue why, but then the thing is कि influencers, microblogging and micro influencers and nano influencers, ये तीनों चीज है. अगर तो आपके पास आप ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट कर रहे हो, तो ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसे आप करो. ठीक है, यूट्यूबर्स है, यू कैन मेक एड्स, यू कैन सेल एड्स. Once you are into the business, a lot of people will anyway come into contact with you with new ideas, because there are a lot of other ancillary businesses as well. अभी खाने के साथ ancillary business है, food photography हो गया, food videography हो गया. So these people, they'll come to you and they'll directly tell you that we're gonna make a movie, we're gonna do something, we're gonna shoot at your place, this and that. So that's how you're getting an added publicity that ways. But then I'll tell you one more thing: if your product and service is good, the quality is good, then mouth to mouth selling, mouth to mouth publicity is the best thing that can happen to you, I feel. So if you're starting a business from home, no matter what, always consider on the quality of your product. उसके बाद तो pay influencers to propagate your product or service, like that. Anything else, Aftab and Shubhra?
Yes, ma'am. Shruti just specified that thing that she was
Yes.
asking about food business.
Food business. See, if you're selling cakes and all of that, okay, and being in Mumbai, how many bakers are in Mumbai. I don't need to specify. Your college is in Mira Road, if I'm not wrong. ठीक है, तो मीरा रोड में कितने बेकर्स होंगे आपको पता है. मेरे 5 फ्रेंड है जो बेकर है बॉम्बे में, ठीक है, and all of them are doing good because the thing is you have customers over there, ठीक है, and I'm telling you, initially in food business, your quality of the product will only speak, nothing else. No publicity, no amount of publicity is going to work. No amount of nano influencer or mega influencer or micro influencer is going to help. Only if your food is good. मैंने आज खाया और मैंने मेरे फ्रेंड को बोला कि भाई वहाँ पे तो खाना बहुत अच्छा है, or I ordered from that place is really good, yeah, because there are people like that, food enthusiasts these days who are very much into food and would like to try new food again and again, because I'm spending $200 daily on eating वो normal का दाल चावल और pizza एक ही जगह से. If I have a new option, because I like exploring food, so obviously I'll go to you. So please keep in mind the quality of your product is very important if you are in a food business.
Okay, Aftab, do we have any more questions there?
No, from YouTube we don't have any more questions.
Okay, so
Okay.
here one question is there. Can we have your Insta ID, ma'am?
Yes, it's aprajita.singh _ APRA. Where should I write it down? Okay, I'll just type it
In the chat box, ma'am.
Yep, I'll do it. Yes. So that's my Insta ID. Anything else?
No, ma'am. If anything else is there, please ask if there will be any more questions.
Or you guys can get in touch with me on Instagram, send me your questions, anything, whatever. I'll reply there as well.
No, we will wait for 2 minutes if there will be any more questions.
Yes, sure. I hope all of you found this session informative.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Shubhra, I don't think we have any more questions, so we can proceed with the thank you speech, I guess.
Yes, after. Yes, I don't have any more questions in my chat box.
Yeah.
Okay, over to you, Maria.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Maria.
Okay. As this event comes to an end, I, Maria Motiwala, on behalf of the Royal College NSS unit, would like to extend a great thank you to you, Aparajita Singh, ma'am, for sharing your experience and telling us a lot of things about entrepreneurship and women entrepreneurship that we didn't know about. I would also like to extend my greatest gratitude to our dignitaries, without whose support this event wouldn't have even taken place. And of course, our program officers and all the participants here for giving us your precious time, and thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Maria.
Okay, we are sharing the attendance link in the chat box here also, and on YouTube also. So you all have to register your attendance in that Google form. Till then, if you have any more query, you can directly unmute yourself and ask to ma'am, or you can send it.
Yeah,
Or else,
I would like that, unmuting people and talking at least something. I miss
You
the
can,
direct student-to-student interaction.
please, if you have any more questions, unmute yourself, or if you want to give feedback of the session, you can unmute yourself and you can directly speak.
yes, can we have the feedback of Ravishri ma'am or Seema ma'am or any of the POs if they want to?
Let students have interaction. Let them give their feedback, how they felt. Sufyan is raising hand. Sufyan, you have any question?
Yes, ma'am. Yet, have any franchise?
Your voice is not clear, beta.
Yet, have any franchising in Mumbai, ma'am?
Am I planning to have any franchisee in Mumbai? I'm not planning to have any franchisees as of yet, anywhere. Be it Guwahati, be it Mumbai, be it anywhere. If it's going to be, sister organization or a brother organization, but not a franchisee as of now.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you, Sufyan.
At last, ma'am, you fixed your camera.
Yes, I was able to fix my camera at the end. I think somebody had said it was about the filter only. Yes, I was just nervous in the beginning, so this happened.
Oh, no problem, ma'am.
Okay, Aprajita, thank you for accepting the invitation and
Thank you so much.
guiding our students about the challenges faced by women entrepreneur particularly. And definitely they would be motivated from your story, because most of our students are very good in various kind of skills, cooking or baking and all. So definitely they would be encouraged by your story.
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully, and I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I hope that this session was very informative for the students today, and it motivated them somehow.
Okay. So Shubhra, can we wind up?
Yes, ma'am. Seema ma'am or any other PO, do you have anything to say?
No, ma'am, we enjoyed your talk, and I, especially the one where the students would collaborate with one another and start up a new project or entrepreneurship. And I hope our students will take this knowledge and build some job or build some business, and you will come and talk to them about it, and you will guide them. Hello, I was audible.
Yes, ma'am. You were not properly clear, but we have understood.
We deciphered it though. You partly understood what you're saying, but not clear voice. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Ravishri ma'am, we can wind up now. Participants, please register your attendance. The link will get closed after 5 minutes.
So no more question. We will leave then.
Yes, ma'am. We can end the meeting now.
End the
Thank you so
meeting.
much, Aprajita, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shubhra. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, guys, there's some glitch in YouTube link. Like, I'm not able to forward the attendance link in the on YouTube. Okay, fine.
If you have filled your attendance, you may leave. No problem.
Ma'am, can we leave this meeting?
Yes, you can leave.
Yeah, once you fill the attendance link, make sure to fill the attendance and then you can leave. Yeah.
After Maria, should I end this meeting?
Shivra, wait for 3 minutes. 12:30 को exact and end कर देना.
Okay. Remaining participants, please fill your attendance and then you can leave.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Guys, you have to fill your attendance in the Google form. Don't send it in the chat box.
Yeah, the Google form is opening from the YouTube link. Yeah.
Maria, please mute yourself. Thank you. Okay, so we are ending this meeting. Thank you everyone for joining. Oh, okay, no problem.
We have told them to come into the Zoom this and then fill it, right? Yeah, okay.
Hussein, we will wait for 3 more minutes. If I see anybody in the waiting room, I'll admit them. Okay, so now we should end the meeting. Okay.